So you're thinking about taking that job at Siemens in South Fort Worth and making the move. Well, in this video, whether it's Siemens or another company, we're going to be taking a look at the South Fort Worth area, what it's like to live there, the type of housing, traffic, shopping, schools, neighborhoods, all that kind of stuff. So by the end of this video, you'll have a real good idea of what the different areas are like and where you might want to start your search or focus on any of that. Okay, I'm losing it. Anyways, if it's your first time on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button if you want to know everything there is to know about the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. My name is Tom Jung. I am your local real estate expert. If you are looking to relocate, you are in the right place. We get phone calls every day from folks just like you who are looking to relocate. So please don't hesitate to give us a call, text, email, Zoom, all that kind of stuff. We have links in the description of every single video so you know where to find us. Anyways, it's how we're able to do these videos, and we love meeting all kinds of different folks. So please don't hesitate to reach out. All right. So 7200 Harris Legacy Drive. This is going to be the location of the new Siemens factory, and this is in an industrial park here on the south side of Fort Worth. I'm going to be doing a lot of screen sharing on this. Just to give you guys an idea here, we took earlier this week, we drove around the better part of a day filming all of this kind of different stuff, a couple days actually, and going through different neighborhoods, all that kind of stuff, so we could put all this information together and give it to you. However, there is so much information. We're gonna have at least 2 videos. So this one is gonna be what we would call a map tour. So we're gonna take you through the map. We'll show you some different footage of different places and that kind of stuff to give you an idea. And then we'll have a second video that's gonna go in depth into the different types of living, the neighborhoods, the house prices, what they look like, all that kind of stuff, to give you an even better idea of what areas you might want to buy in. So anyways, if that's something you're interested, please do subscribe so you get notified of that next video. We put out videos weekly, not just on companies relocating, but everywhere in the Metroplex, and I'll mention those throughout this video. So anyways, let's hop to it. All right, so this big industrial park, if you talk to anybody from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or the Fort Worth area, I should say, and they're like, where is that at? If you say, hey, when you're coming up 35 or going down 35, you know, when you see that big Miller sign that's spinning around, that's where it's at. So everybody knows that Miller sign. Nobody's going to know anything else about what's back there, more than likely. Anyways, right off of 35 here, you'll see the little Miller sign. And this is a industrial park. So this is kind of interesting because most of the time, if somebody was somewhat familiar with Fort Worth and you told them that, you know, hey, you're working at this facility and, you know, it's in this warehouse district, most people are going to think you're on the north side of Fort Worth near the Alliance Airport. But you know, South Fort Worth has this little hub as well. You got these little train tracks that come in here. You can kind of see it on the screen. I'll zoom in a little bit. Yep, we got some footage of that as well. But anyways, you got this brand new building. I'm saying so brand new, they haven't even put their name on the sign yet. And that's apparently where Siemens is opening up their new facility. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the area. So this being heavily industrial, you typically have crime around industrial. And so what typically happens is next to industrial, you have apartments and kind of smaller, like stick frame homes, that kind of stuff. And this is not much different. So unfortunately, Everman got the short end of the stick here. They sit right behind all this industrial stuff. And yeah, so if you drive through Everman, for the most part, it's like little stick frame homes, that kind of stuff. But there are some new neighborhoods going in, and you know, there's a little variety in there. Anyways, Everman sits right behind here, and then you've got, this is kind of an interesting area, right? Because you have, you know, we say Fort Worth, but Fort Worth, you know, Fort Worth is like this enormous city. Like the amount of land that it covers is pretty massive, but right in here, you've got all of these other little cities. So you've got Edgecliff Village, Forest Hill, Kennedale, Everman, Rendon, Mansfield, Crowley. You've got Burleson right below that. You've got Arlington out here, Pantego, Dalworthington Gardens, Benbrook. I mean, there is a ton going on right here, right? So there's a lot to talk about in this video. So it's going to be a little bit longer, so buckle in. But Yeah, so let's jump into schools first. So obviously schools are going to be important if you've got kids, right? And Everman, unfortunately, being right next to here is probably not going to be the best. If we take a look at, let me show you this real quick. So I just put in a point. This is right next to the industrial park. And I had it map a 10-minute range as far as houses go. And so this first blue line that you're going to see here, this is all the homes within a 10-minute drive. Now, I will say I've got this filtered for new homes, but there are a few other homes here, but there's not going to be much to choose from. But if you go 20 minutes out, which is the second line all the way out here, let me zoom out. I mean, this, you can cover a lot of ground in 20 minutes, right? So, and this is also, I did this like on a Sunday, so there's not going to be much traffic. We'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, so if you're trying to be within 20 minutes, you've got a lot of options. And if you go to 30, you're going to have even more. I mean, it's you know, you're going to have quite a few options. Now, if you're somebody that's going to be traveling between the Siemens facility here and the ones in Grand Prairie, Grand Prairie is over here kind of in the center of the Metroplex, and you may want to kind of focus on an area in between. And so we're going to talk about what those might be, especially if you have kids. So we're going to talk about the different school districts here in a second. But first, let's talk about traffic. Because if you're like me, I hate traffic. And I hate driving in Dallas. If you've ever driven in Dallas, it's the worst. You know, I would almost prefer, I drove in Sicily over in Italy, and I mean, that is crazy drivers. I mean, like, I don't even know if they're open their eyes half the time when they're driving. I mean, it's just like everybody gets super close, and there's, you know, they're very liberal with their lines and driving inside of them. It's just kind of like, if there's a spot that I can fit in, I go. And I will say I preferred that over to driving in Dallas traffic. I don't know why. It just seemed like maybe it was more of like a Mario Kart thing, where I was just, you know, having fun weaving in and out. But that being said, that was a huge tangent. Sorry about that. Yeah, so traffic. Okay, a couple spots to note here as far as traffic goes near this area. Coming up and down 35. So there's been a ton of growth in all of the Dallas Fort Worth area just because Texas is so pro-business. Hey. But that has led to a lot of people moving here, which is great. Helps our business. But at the same time, it has started to put a little bit of a strain on our road systems. And so 35W here, there's been a ton of growth down here in Burleson and Joshua and all this kind of area through here. And you only have one highway that really gets you up, you know, if you're trying to get to the north side of Fort Worth or trying to get to downtown. So for that reason, this 35 gets real congested during, I don't know why I'm on this page. Hang on, there's a better map. All right, it's a bigger map anyways. It gets real congested basically from 20 south, right? So once the traffic here hits 20, a lot of it dissipates because people go down the 20. But right here during rush hour, it's kind of a bear. And then the other thing that's going on right now, so if you look over here to the east, you've got 20, and then you've got 287 that kind of comes down and meets 820. And then there's like a bunch of intersections right here. That is a big mess right now. So, yeah, just a big mess. It was not great before, but they are expanding all of these and changing how it works so that the traffic flows better, which is great, right? It just gives somebody something to complain about while they're doing it, which is what's happening right now. And so this is 2023. I don't know how long this project is going to take. They're actually moving pretty quick. Every time I drive through there, I'm like, wow, they got something done. So it's moving, but this has created quite a bit of a problem with all the construction going on lately. But that's not going to be a long-term thing, hopefully. Right here at 360 and 20, this is also horrible during rush hour, just like this one area. You have a bunch of shopping right here at the Highlands. You also have the Parks Mall. You also have a ton of people trying to get home, right? There's just a bunch of neighborhoods right here. So there's a big traffic issue right there during rush hour. And then since I mentioned shopping, let's go ahead and talk about shopping. So as far as that goes, if you're looking for like your big areas of retail, so right here off of 35, you're going to have a bunch of different shopping centers, and you're also going to have like Lowe's, Home Depot, all of those major type. There's a Sam's Club, and you're gonna have a bunch of restaurants as well. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a lot of drone footage because it is right next to an airport. So there's the Sphinx Airport, just right here, basically just south of the industrial park. So if you are a pilot and you want to fly in and out, yeah, there is one here. I don't know if you're a weekend pilot. I don't know why you would be working at a factory and flying a plane at the same time, but I guess it's possible, right? So there's some shopping there, and then also you have a bunch of shopping over here off of Hewlin, and also so there's a Costco, and then also off of Bryant Irvin, which this is Hewlin, this is Chisholm Trail, and then Bryant Irvin. So there's a ton of shopping right here. There's a Hewlin Mall, you've got a Walmart, you've got a Costco, you've got Academy, you've got a Target, you got a Sam's Club, Lowe's, another Home Depot. So there's a little bit of everything right there. So as far as shopping goes, like getting all that stuff, this is you're probably only 10 to 12 minutes away. And then you also have Clear Fork, which is like high-end shopping, which is just a little bit up where this Whole Foods is. So there's some high-end shopping there. You've got shopping there. You've got shopping down towards Burleson. You've also got some in Arlington. So you're not far. And then you're also not too far. This is only about 12 to 15 minutes from downtown Fort Worth as well. So if you're trying to get down there for any reason, trying to hit up the bars or the restaurants that are on South Main or maybe West 7th, then there's, that's not too far away either. So anyway, shopping, check. All right, so schools. This is, if you have kids, and this is going to be obviously a big consideration for where you live. So let's talk about the elephant in the room real quick, Everman. This is a city that believes in barndominiums. They have, just kind of joking, all of like their downtown or like their city area, it looks like it's all built from barndominiums. But it's very industrial. And so most of the stuff, like I mentioned before, is not going to be great. The schools it's like one of the worst school districts in the area, unfortunately. So, if you love your kids, you probably don't want to live here. Or, if you got a boy named Sue and you're all about the School of Hard Knocks, this may be a place for you. So they've got 2 new neighborhoods going in here, which we're going to detail a little bit more in our next video. But basically, you've got Legend Homes and LGI building kind of right behind here. I'll pull up this map. Yeah, you see this, see this clump of homes here and this clump of homes over here. Those are the 2 different neighborhoods that they're building. So you're like, here you would be super close to work, right? It's just not a great school district. Now, that being said, we have charter schools. If you're not familiar with charter schools here in Texas, basically they have, you can elect to either go to public school, or if you elect to go to a charter school, I think the state sends the funding there instead of to the public school. And so basically it's like, it works more like private schooling where, obviously the school has to be so good to attract students. Otherwise, they're not going to get paid. So that being said, there are some bad ones as far as the ratings go that I've seen. But there are a couple of those. There's a preparatory academy right behind here, which does not have a great rating. I don't know how. It does look like, it looks very industrial. So it kind of matches the Everman vibe, whatever you want to call it. There's another one here. It's the kind of by Edgecliff Village. That is the Academy. There we go. Texas School of the Arts. This is A- rated, so that's pretty decent. And I believe, kindergarten through 5th grade. So that may be an option if you got little ones. And then you can look up on niche.com. This is traditionally what we use for our videos, but you can look up, there are charter schools all over the place. And so depending on where you land, there may be a charter school nearby that works a lot better. But if we were going just off of public schools, Everman, and then also let's talk about the surrounding areas because there are so doggone many of them. All right, Forest Hill, schools, Fort Worth, schools, Let me show you this real quick though. So Fort Worth, so this is niche.com. I think this is new. So B- overall for Fort Worth, which B is like average, right? As far as niche is concerned, like if you read into how they do the ratings, B is pretty average across the state. So above a B, you're starting to get into things that are pretty good. So this is a little bit below average. Now, if you look at the map here, this is kind of cool because it gives you a sense. This aligns pretty close to neighborhoods, like are the neighborhoods good? Are they bad? Are they high in crime? Is there a lot of poverty? That kind of thing. This kind of lines up, and not in all cases, but similar. So you're gonna see here, basically a lot of Fort Worth, not so good, C rated, right? And then these A minuses. This is Tanglewood, and they just opened another elementary school over here, Pascal High School. So this kind of area, this is kind of by TCU, good area to be in. And the other one that's kind of up and coming right now is this Benbrook area. And it's because there's a lot of growth. There's new neighborhoods going in. We'll talk about this here in a bit. New elementary school going in. So this is something that I've had clients that have moved over to this area here locally because of the schools. So that is something to keep in mind as well. But overall, Fort Worth, So if you're looking into Fort Worth, you may want to also, if you're not in one, you're going to want to look at the schools, number one, and you may also want to look into the charter schools. So anyways, Fort Worth, boom, check that off the list. And then let's talk about Arlington. So Arlington, B+, and let's check out the map real quick. And what you're going to see here is a lot of these A-rated schools are going to be down close to Mansfield. So Mansfield is on the south side of Arlington is Mansfield, which is well known for having good schools. So if that's something that you're interested in, Mansfield may not be a bad option as well. And the other nice thing about Mansfield is, as you go a little bit further down here, you could, if you're somebody that's going to be working at both Grand Prairie and the Fort Worth location, then you've got the 360 that takes you right up to Grand Prairie, and then 287 that brings you over to Fort Worth. So it's kind of like even though it's a little bit further away, it's kind of an in-between point for the two. But if you are going to be in Arlington, you can kind of see how the schools go, kind of up here along the lake, and then in North Arlington here on the kind of east side, it's the schools are decent, and then on your and then towards the southeast as well. So that's something to keep in mind as you are doing shopping. All right, then Burleson. Let's talk about this, my hometown. What's up? Shout out Burleson, B-Town homies. Yeah, pretty good, pretty decent. I think they're A- rated. Yeah, so crushing it. Got two high schools here. It is home of the Elks, which I think grammatically is incorrect. I think the plural of elk is also elk. Doesn't sound right, but yeah, so this is another option as well. Burleson is very good, very good. Then you have Crowley. Okay, I have a beef with Crowley. I'm just gonna let you know what it is. It's not a bad place to be, but they have some of the highest property taxes in all of the Fort Worth area. So for that reason, I got beef. And also their schools are, B-, not great, right? They do have some good schools. Whoops, let's go look at the map. And one of the things that I'll kind of note on here, so like you can kind of see up here by Fort Worth, it's kind of not great, and over here, not great. Over here, you're starting to see these B- and Bs pop up. This is Chisholm Trail Parkway. It was put in, 15, 20 years ago. And there's a ton of growth that's happening along here. So it's a lot of new home neighborhoods. And typically, if you get higher end new home neighborhoods, typically the schools turn out to be better, all that kind of stuff. So there is some of that going on here, but the neighborhoods are, they got everything over here. They've got like these really skinny 30-foot wide townhomes all the way up to like these gigantic, like super nice 4,000 square foot custom homes. Like there's just a little bit of everything going on over here. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this turns out. It could, because there's a couple things going on here too. You've got some hospitals over here, and you've also got Tarleton State opened up a campus as well. So there's a lot of growth going on in this area. And from here, even though it looks like, let me pull the other map back up. So this is Chisholm Trail right through here. This is Crowley. Even though it looks like this is a long way from downtown Fort Worth, because of this parkway, you can get there in like 10 to 12 minutes. So that's nice, except you got to pay for it. Cool. All right. So which ones did we not talk about? Mansfield. Mansfield's really good. Arlington, good in some places. Fort Worth, yeah. Okay, so I think we hit on just about all of the schools that you're going to run into. So hopefully that will help. Cool. Let's move on to types of living. This is something that's pretty cool about this location. There's a little bit of everything, no matter what you want to do. So if you're somebody that likes lake living, why am I starting with that? It's my favorite. It's where I want to be one day. You could actually live on the lake and not be too far. So Lake Arlington here has homes that you can buy. Now, I will tell you, and I think we have a video on lakes. So if it's like, hey, I don't care how far I live, I just want to be on a lake, you might want to check that video out. But as far as Lake Arlington goes, this is a little bit smaller lake, and it is there's a power plant on it. So the downside is when it's 100 degrees in the summer, the water can be like 86, which is also really warm. It feels like you're in a warm bath, especially if you're on like the side with the dam. This is the dam up on the north side, which is kind of interesting, right? The water's flowing the wrong direction, but there is a power plant up here, and so for that reason the water's a little bit warmer. But I guess on the flip side, your summer probably lasts a little bit longer because the water stays warmer longer. Anyways, if you are somebody that likes to go fishing or just wants to do some recreational type stuff, or just like sitting on the dock and looking out at nature, this may not be a bad spot to land. You're going to be pretty close, and there is a variety of homes in here. I mean, you've got older homes, newer homes, brand new homes. Saw one that came up this past year. So a little bit of everything right along this lake. And then just to mention the other lakes real quick. So you got Joe Pool down here. You can't live on this lake. So in Texas, there's two types of lakes, those that flood and those that don't. The ones that don't, we drink from. The ones that do, catch the overflow. I don't know if we drink from them. I don't know how it works. But basically, these are for flood control, and so you can't build on them. Otherwise, your house would flood, and the other ones are not. So this one is for flood control, so you can't live on it. You can live next to it. There's like a cool restaurant bar over here. I can never remember the new name of it. It's like the Sunshine something now. But it's interesting. It always floods like every couple of years. And then you have Benbrook Lake over here, which I've heard is a very good fishing lake. I haven't fished there in forever, but you cannot build a house on here either. There are some neighborhoods that are right around here as well, so you could be close to it, but not on it. And then you have Lake Worth. Lake Worth is a constant level lake, and the reason for that, we do get drinking water from this one, I know. And yeah, you also have the Lockheed base right here. So downside is you're gonna have planes flying over you from time to time, so it's not gonna be that super peaceful, serene, dock sitting all the time. But it is a lake. There's no restaurants or anything on it. They've got Goat Island out here, which a lot of people go up and tie up at if you want to do that kind of thing. But other than that, not a whole lot going on. But there's a lot of different type of homes on here. There's like I've seen some really crappy ones on this lake. Some that have been knocked down and rebuilt and all kinds of stuff. So anyways, that's another option. And then further, I mean, now Eagle Mountain, there's a ton on Eagle Mountain, but you're getting pretty far away from South Fort Worth at that point. That's a drive. So anyways, that's enough about lake living. Let's go on to country living. Yes, so if you're somebody that's like, hey, I'm moving to Texas because I want to get away from it all. I want to have, just peace and quiet. I want to see nature in my backyard. I want to see some trees. Or maybe you want to workshop. Or maybe you just want to light fireworks whenever you feel like it, that kind of thing. Then we got some spots for you. Or you want to have a horse. Horses are cool too. And so basically all this area that you see that's kind of green on the Google map, kind of around Rendon and south of Everman, Mansfield, all that kind of stuff, even into Briar Oaks. This is all what I would consider country. So a lot of this is outside city limits. That's probably what that green is for. I actually don't know. But I don't think so, because you got it around the lake here. I don't know what the green's for. Anyways, if you know what the green's for, let me know in the comments. And also, if you are taking a job with Siemens, let me know where you're coming from, because we were talking about this. Curious to know if it's a lot of people that are going to be coming from the Grand Prairie facility, or if it's folks that are moving from other states or something like that. And if you are watching this video, and if you're watching this video and you're going to be working somewhere over here and this is helpful for you, let us know what company it is. That way maybe we can get with HR and have them spread the video a little bit more. Anyways, okay, cool. So sidetrack there. Country living. So a lot of country living going on out here. There's a little bit of everything. I'm going to tell you it's a hodgepodge. So you drive, if you just drive through here, you're going to see everything. You're going to see cows streaking, probably see some horses. You'll see mobile home parks. There are neighborhoods out here that are like really nice. So like it's just like nothing. Oh, super nice neighborhood where everybody's got an acre lot for whatever reason, so it's really interesting. And then you'll also see like these giant, 10, 20 acre lots with a pond and a house and cows and everything else. I mean, they got everything. So if you want the country kind of living, you can find it out here. It's just going to be a matter of, what exactly do you want and all that kind of stuff. that being said, obviously the more detailed you want to get, the more, there's not a lot of inventory right now, so it may be harder to find, but we can help you find it. Good segue right here. So also, we have a search. So this, I guess I'll just, this video is sponsored by Tom's Texas Realty. I'm going to hit you with a couple of things, a couple tools for you guys to use. Number one, if you go to our website, if you go to tomstexasrealty.com, it's our website, and you click on search, instead of having your traditional search, we have a capture form. It's probably the wrong thing to say, capture form. It's a form that you fill out. And basically what it does is it allows us to set up a search for you. And the reason that we do it this way is because if you go to Zillow, and we've had different searches on our website, and none of them are any good. And it always makes me up. Anyways, if you go to Zillow, Realtor.com, they're decent, but they don't have as many filters or the capabilities to do things that we want to do. A lot of times. So like if you're somebody that's, looking for something out in the country and you want to have a workshop or, and you want it to be at least, a half acre or whatever it is, you can put all that into the form and we'll set you up a personalized search. You get an email every morning of anything new that's come up so you can stay up to date with what's out there. And then also, if you want to get a text message, you can also opt for that. That's a new thing that we started offering, which is pretty cool because if you're like me and you get, 100 emails a day, sometimes you miss stuff, right? But a text message, I'm going to see it. Anyway, so that's one. And then the other is if you go to our website and /YouTube, you're going to see this map, which is not entirely up to date yet, of all of our YouTube videos. So basically, if you're looking at this and you're like, hey, I've narrowed it down to Mansfield or Burleson or whatever, you can actually go on here and watch videos based on the location. We also have playlists on our YouTube page, but if you're somebody that just likes to, if you're more visual, this is another tool for you guys to use. So, and then also you'll notice we don't have so much Dallas on here yet. We're bringing on somebody to help us create that content. So hopefully we'll have a lot more of that coming soon. Cool. All right, back to the video. So we're talking about country living. Yeah, lots of it going on over in that area. That's probably going to be your best bet. Apart from there, there is this area of Dalworthington Gardens that it's kind of mind-blowing. And I wish I knew the exact street or whatever, but basically you're driving through traffic and it's a long day. And then all of a sudden you turn on this road and you're in the country. It's like this blacktop paved road. You've got trees kind of just coming over, making a tunnel for you. And then you just see land and pastures and everything else. It's the weirdest thing because it's smack dab kind of in the middle of Dallas Fort Worth. But there's this little area where you can get homes on half acre up to a couple acres, and it exists. So it's really nice. It's also expensive because, obviously location. But I think you're going to spend 500, at least 500 and up, more than likely. I can't think of anything I've seen in there lower than that. But it's not outrageous, but some can be. Don't get me wrong. There's $1 million plus properties in there. But anyways, that may be another option. And then apart from that, once you get, this would be a little bit longer of a drive, but there's stuff kind of out here, like south of the Benbrook Lake. Over in this area, you've got the Bella Ranch, Bella Flora, which are all acre plus properties. And we've got a video on that that we'll link to. So if that is kind of what you're looking for, that's a little bit different. Those are nice. Those are all custom homes. It's a real nice neighborhood. But yeah, as far as country living goes, the closest stuff's going to be right here around Rendon. All right, so next, subdivision. If you like that subdivision life, if you're like, hey, I like having a bunch of neighbors and knowing what everybody's up to, then there are going to be a ton of options for you. That's really kind of what everything around here is. Yeah. So just I'm going to point out a couple here. So number one, Edgecliff Village. This is something, just to give you a little background on me, I grew up out in Briar Oaks. So we grew up on some land. We rode horses around. I got kind of the hybrid country and city life, which was really nice. I feel blessed that I had that kind of experience, but it really makes me appreciate having some land and a little bit of space. And so anyways, Edgecliff Village is a really interesting place. It's its own city. And it's like basically this road here. It's like one subdivision. It's this road. You got a couple over here, back this way, and that's about it. I mean, it's not a very big place, but up in the front, up on this side, it's a small section right here, but you've got a larger lot. So a lot of these are, going to be a quarter acre all the way over an acre. And so, a lot of these are going to be ranch style or whatever, but it's nice. They're a lot of one-story house. It's kind of peaceful. You'll see a lot of people walking the streets, walking their dogs, walking their kids, strollers, all that kind of stuff, in this neighborhood. So it's a really cool spot if you're, and it's super close. So, but the downside is, I always joke about this, but I'm like, the only way you get into this neighborhood is if somebody dies or gets into a nursing home, because it's like a lot of older folks that have just lived there forever, and so homes don't come up as much, and a lot of times when they do, they're outdated, right? So that's another thing that you might have to tackle if you don't want those, that shag carpet and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's something to keep an eye on for sure. Oh, other plus, the taxes are lower than Fort Worth. So that is the reason I tried moving to that neighborhood for 3 years until I finally found one. Cool. So enough about that. So you got Edgecliff, then you got South Hills and Wedgwood. This has become a pretty nice neighborhood. It used to be kind of like, but here on the south side of 20, it's becoming a lot nicer. There's been a lot of renovation going on. Everybody jokes about this neighborhood having, you either have had foundation work or your house needs foundation work, and there's no in between. But a lot of these homes have been renovated. It's a good place to land, but not a great school district, right? So that's the one downer. You would have to look into charter school probably. And then also there are some of these neighborhoods are kind of heavily rental properties, so you just got to be careful when you go through there. Typically those don't hold value as well. All right, and then anything else right near there? Nope, yep. Those are just kind of the ones to note. All right, let's talk about master plan communities. So when I think of, it's one thing to have like a new community where everything's planned out. When I think master plan community, I'm thinking multiple phases, lots of amenities. I'm talking splash pads, talking pools, amenity center, hangout spots, maybe, I don't know, zip line, pond to go fishing in, that kind of stuff. I'm talking like lots of amenities, that kind of thing, master plan in that sense. So if that's the kind of lifestyle you want to have, let's talk about where you're going to find those. All right, first one out the gate I'm going to tell you about is Tavolo Park. So it is over here off the Chisholm Trail Parkway and Chisholm and Alta Mesa right here. Boom. There it is. All right, so this sucker, not far from the lake, really nice community. So they have townhomes over here kind of in the front, and then you've got Highland Homes and David Weekley that builds homes in here. Highland Homes are super nice. And there's also a new charter school. It's School of the Hearts or something. Hearts, whatever. If you look up Hearts, Tavolo Park Charter School, you'll find it. There's not enough ratings on it yet that I've seen, so I don't know if it's good or not. I assume that it's going to be good. But you have to do a little bit of research there if you plan on moving to Tavolo. But there's a ton of building going on here, still going on. They've been building for, I don't know, almost 10 years. And then right next year, you have a bunch of hospitals. So, a bunch of those folks have bought in this neighborhood, so it's kept up pretty well. And they have a bunch of amenities, right? So that is definitely one spot to consider. Another one, which is going to be just outside that 20-minute mark. If you follow the 20 out here, there's a neighborhood called Ventana, and we've got a video on this as well. Go figure. They are about to expand into a new phase, which has its own elementary school, and that is an area where traditionally the schools have not been great, but it's up and coming, so that would be one that I would check out as well. Moving back over this way, South Point. So in Mansfield, this is also going to be just outside of that 20-minute mark or whatever. But basically, you have down here, you've got South Point, which is this huge master plan community. There are a ton of builders in it, and they've been going crazy on that for like 10 years. There's just, in general, there's a lot of new home communities down here as well. But that would be another one to check out. And then last but not least, well, honorable mention, we'll go out to Walsh. This is going to be like a 30-minute drive. if you are going to live out here in Walsh. But basically Walsh, as far as amenities go, this one blows like everything out of the water. I mean, they've got a maker space, they've got multiple pools, they've got lap pools, they've got a gym, they've got some of the fastest internet that you're going to find on earth. I don't know if that's true. They got the fast stuff. Ponds, you name it, they got it. This is a really well thought out and planned community, except for the fact that the highway's not big enough. So rush hour, if you do live here, 30, awful. But if you were going to be working at the facility, you could take 20. 20 is not going to be too bad. So yeah, okay, cool. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, last but not least, shout out to the guys that are going to be going between Grand Prairie and Fort Worth. You got Viridian up here. All right, so this is also pretty nice. Like they've got, you can see the size of this lake, the Viridian Lake, massive, right? So they've got like this little marina over here with sailboats. They've got a really nice facility here if you want to have events, that kind of thing, volleyball courts, and you know, pools, parks everywhere. I mean, walking trails, like all of this back here. There's like walking trails all along the creek, river. I don't know what that is. And they've also got a 55 plus community. So if you want to move your family down here as well, that community gets their own pool, their own dog park, their own thing going on over there. So those are going to be your main ones. All are very nice. Oh, and just to mention, if you're not from the area, so that's Viridian in North Arlington, and just south of there, AT&T Stadium, Globe Life Field, home of your Texas Rangers and Dallas Cowboys. So if you want to take in some games, you're going to be real close to that. And Six Flags over Texas, Hurricane Harbor, all that kind of stuff's over there. Surprisingly, the traffic is not too bad here. They've done a really good job planning that and getting people in and out. All right, so master plan, check that off the list. So those are going to be some places to look. Now let's talk about new homes. Yeah, so we talked about in the master plan. Obviously, those are all, they're still building in all of those. So if you want something new, those are options. If you want to be close, we mentioned earlier the Legends, the LGI. Over here, there's another what I would call a minimalist builder where, you know, no frills. Like the LGI homes, like no gutters, you don't even get a doorbell, you probably don't get a garage door opener. Like they're real basic homes. Over here next to the Texas School of the Arts, you have Starlight Homes, which is a similar type builder. And but because of that, they're going to be very inexpensive is not the right term. Homes are expensive in general right now, but yeah, they're gonna be your more economical new builds. That's the way I should phrase that. So those are gonna be some of the closest ones, and then you're gonna have down in Burleson, you've got a couple different neighborhoods going in. There's a cool little neighborhood. Can't remember what it's called. It's Silverleaf. I think Silverleaf Homes is the builder in there. And they've got like this cottage style facade, and then some of the backyards are like massive. Like there's one we toured that had a half-acre backyard, and so that's an option as well. And then over here, kind of in this wedge, you've got First Texas Homes building in High Country Estates, which we will have a video walkthrough tour on that if you want to take a look at it as well. But these are like massive family homes. So like I'm talking anywhere from, I think their smallest one's probably like 2,600 square feet, goes up to almost 5,000 square feet. So most of these are going to be like these just gigantic houses for families. And First Texas builds a good product. So if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, they've got a bunch of it there. And then right below here, this is another neighborhood that's finishing up. They're going to have big homes, not quite to the level of First Texas, but pretty close. So kind of mid-range, I guess, type home. You're going to have a lot of that right here. Most of this is built out, but they're still building a few homes. And yeah, you're just going to find a lot of new homes trickled here and there. So, okay, this map is all the new homes. So I was just showing you down in Burleson. We were just short of the country home. So this is going to be just over 20 minutes to get to work. But yeah, you're going to have a bunch of new homes going up here in Crowley. You also have these down here. I think Rockwood is one of these. We've got a video on that as well. A couple tours. Very nice homes. So like you've got First Texas Homes, which is really nice. And then over here, I think you got Coventry and Drees. And those homes are even nicer. But all of them are very nice homes. They're just a little step above. So anyways, you got homes all the way through here. And the one thing I will note, like up here, you're going to see a bunch of these It looks like these are communities, but they're not. These are going to be one-off builds. So through here, this has kind of been the not so great area of Fort Worth. There's a lot of money that Fort Worth's pumping in, trying to make it better, all that. But basically, a lot of these are homes that are getting knocked down and rebuilt and that kind of thing. So these are going to be one-off builders. So if you are looking at the new home, if you want to go that route, please do reach out to us. This is something that we have a lot of expertise in. This is something that I love. I love new homes. They're the best. But when it comes to this, these are all going to be different builders, different quality, different materials, all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot different. And if you are buying a new home and you do choose to work with us and take advantage of our expertise, we also have incentives that we provide for our new home clients. So go ahead and take advantage of that. Cool. Oh, and if you are going that route, let us know today. Like, the other thing too is, like, there's a lot that goes into it. But basically, if you walk into a sales office and they're like, "Oh, who's your realtor?" and you're like, "Oh, I haven't really talked to one yet," then it becomes very difficult for us to work with you. But yeah, just anyways, hit us up. Last but not least, let's talk about golf course communities. So if you are somebody that wants to be in a golf course community, and also these golf course communities have a lot of times have other amenities as well, right? So these are going to be kind of along the line of your master plan communities. Some of them may not have as many bells and whistles, but I'm just going to mention a couple of these if that's something that you're just like deeply in love with. It's like, I got to be in a golf course community. So we talked earlier, let me switch back to the right map, of the Sphinx Airport right here. Right next to this, you got the Southern Oaks Golf Club, tennis club, all that kind of stuff. So there's this really nice community tucked away in here. Golf course is pretty nice. And so if, you know, that's definitely a place you can look into. That's real close to the facility. And then Mira Vista, super nice, gated. We have a video on this as well that we'll link to, but it's just really cool when you come into this neighborhood. Like, it was well designed. It's just pretty. Everything is pretty the way that it was laid out. The golf course is nice, and they've got homes in here that range, I think they probably started at like 700 and go up from there. And there's multi-million-dollar homes, and it's just got a little bit of everything. Really nice though. And then and over here you got Ridgely Hills. All right, so Ridgely, it's probably going to be around 15 to 20 minutes depending on where you live in the neighborhood. But it's a really nice community through here. Most of these homes were built in the 50s and 70s, so they're going to be older, but they're on land, so you're going to get a little bit more land. And then the Ridgely Country Club is a country club, and so if you live here, it doesn't mean you belong to the club. If you're at the club, you don't have to live in the neighborhood, but basically it's real close to each other. And so you're not paying, if you're in the neighborhood, you're not paying HOA dues or anything like that, but it's a pretty decent neighborhood to live in. And then also you've got, let's see, what is it? Shady Hills over here in North Fort Worth is another golf community as well, if you want to be in the golf community. Other than that, I think that's, Mansfield. There's one in Mansfield, the Walnut Country Club. This is I think they've got 2 courses there. Oh, I should have mentioned this. Ridgely Country Club has 2 courses, and Walnut Creek Country Club does as well. And there are a lot of homes through here. These are going to be pretty affordable as well, even the ones that are on the golf course. So that's not a bad spot to be if you're looking for the golf course living on a budget. It's not really a budget if you're on a golf course anywhere, I think. But anyways, cool. That is, I think we've hit everything on the list. So hopefully this is helpful, kind of give you an idea of where you might want to start looking. And yeah, like I mentioned, we'll have another video coming out here shortly about different neighborhoods and taking on tours of stuff. And we have tours of all these different, the Walnut Country Club, Mansfield, we've got videos on that. We've got videos on Walsh, Tavolo Park, all of these things. So if you're interested in any of those, we've got videos. The whole goal here is to get you as much information as possible to help make your home search a little bit easier. But as always, if you're looking to buy or sell, remember to keep calm. Call Tom.